Hey everyone, how you doing? I am Mark, and this is episode 30 of Path of Exile Betrayal. We are very quickly approaching the end of the series, and the only thing we have left to do is go and kill Catawba. When I started this series, my goal was to get through all 10 acts and show some of the lore along the way, and I think we've done that. All that's left is to finish off Act 10 by killing Catawba, and then we find our way to Oriath proper. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to Innocence and get the party started.
Bone and corruption shall not impede the path of purity.
So Innocence opens the way to the Canals, and now we get to fight our way through to Catawba. And the Canals are a pretty linear sort of zone. I don't know what we'll find in here, aside from the usual monsters, of course. I am going to do a fairly thorough cleansing of the Canals because I would like to finish off our current XP bar. So I can go ahead and take our Mind Over Matter nodes and the related mana nodes before we get to the Catawba fight. I think we'll be able to do that. There are, as I said, quite a few monsters in here. And because it's a fairly linear zone, you do end up encountering almost everything. And one more level to fight Catawba is never a bad thing. I'm going to go back here and make sure we don't miss anything. I guess the other end was the dead end, maybe? We'll keep going. Lots of little dead ends. I don't remember there being this many dead ends, actually. Now, that was actually a unique guy who we killed quickly. A little bit of lore there. We'll check it out and see if it has anything interesting to say. Guessing that might be the way forward. Or that. Is this anything more than a little note? Yeah, we're all cannibals and we will kill everyone and eat them. That's what Catawba boils down to. I don't think the cultists have quite thought that through. Cannibal gods aren't usually that picky. I believe there is another zone to clear after we get through this, but I could be wrong. I guess we'll find out momentarily. The feeding trough. Yep. So Catawba has been busily feeding in this area. The canal is full of, I guess that's supposed to be blood. And you can see these giant footprints. Catawba's a big guy. So we're going to just make our way up here. This is almost completely linear. And hopefully we will get enough experience to pop our level before we go into the fight. So I would really like to do that. In fact, I am going to go over here. Make sure we clear some of these side areas just to get the XP we need to level up. Please? Just a little more. There we go. Oh, we have a strongbox here, so we would have made it anyhow. That means we can go find Mind Over Matter. So basically this makes our mana turn into basically a pool we take damage from, like we take from life. So we take that, we increase our mana by 20%, and then another plus 40 maximum mana, and then 30% increased mana on top of that. So we go from 1074 to 1565. A nice buff. And let's test it really quickly. And the advantage of doing this is mana regen is usually much faster than life regen. So our mana pool serves as basically just making us harder to kill. And now we can just head along the path to Catawba without worrying about experience or anything like that. Oh, we have a crafting recipe here. Defenses rank 2. Sin is waiting for us outside the entrance to Catawba's lair.
This is it. It all comes down to this moment to finally put an end to Catawba. Go, Exile. Together we will save humankind.
Alright. The final battle. Deep breath before we go in and face Catawba. And as usual, I am going to throw down a portal, because running is not a cowardly thing in this fight.
I shall strike you down.
Alright. As usual, this is a phase fight. Catawba pulls out his heart and throws it on the ground. grabs Sin out of the air and just smacks him down. Always nice to see. That fire breath just hurts. And really, our goal here is to avoid getting hit and make sure our totems are always up. And Innocence drives him back into the pit, which means that his heart is back up. And all his buddies come out to fight for him, which means we can refill our potions a bit. And here's the next phase of Catawba. And this time he grabs Innocence and puts the smackdown on him. We guessed the right side that time. Really got to avoid walking through that stuff. Ouch. Alright. He's back down again. The heart comes out. His heart is almost dead. Alright, his heart is dead. And we have done it. Catawba is down. And the first thing you notice is all your resists drop because that applies a permanent minus 60% buff. You also start suffering from minus 10% XP loss on death, so it's really good to avoid dying right now. Look at our defenses quickly. All our resists are down in the 40s and 50s, which is bad. So let's talk to Sin and see what he has to say.
It's over. We emerge victorious. It was always a fool's errand, yet somehow your courage has carried us through. I congratulate you, my friend. Your world may have exiled you, but there will always be a place for you at my table. You have given humanity a fighting chance. Though darkness still covers the face of the earth, there is now a ray of light to pierce it. The insatiable appetite of Kitava has been ruined, and you are no exile. Why, you are a hero worthy of praise. May your legend live on into eternity. Come, let us return to the others. They will be needing as many hands as possible for cleaning up this city.
Okay, and he opens the exit to Oriath proper. Let's go ahead and pay a visit. And we should talk to Lonnie for a reward.
By the light of Ramako, you did it. You, a mortal, have crossed the threshold between God and man and struck the ravenous one asunder. I'd always held out hope that you would succeed, but at night I would stay awake worrying that perhaps that hope was a foolish dream. But you've done it. You are no longer in exile, my friend. I honor you, and I'm certain the rest of the world will honor you as well.
So we get a Book of Skill from Lonnie, which gives us 2 passive skill points, which we'll figure out where to go with those
Remember,
later.
We do this for freedom.
Lily and Whalem have something to say.
I suspect you're about ready for a flagon of ale, and a pretty wench or swain, whatever it be that's your persuasion. The great exile of Oriath returns to a Theopolis in chaos and ends the life of a raving cannibal god. Now that's a story worth the songs of many an ancient muse. Well, alls I can rightly say is congratulations, my friend. A year ago, I wouldn't have dreamt I'd be someday soon in the company of a killer of gods. My advice, you better get while the getting's good and have yourself a holiday before Oriath or Wraeclast or whoever else has need for your unique services once more.
Sound advice from Lily.
See, that bloody sod is gone from our world. Can't tell you how many times I've heard them Karui savages gibbering in fear over that cannibal god. And of course there's all this horror to account for as well. I don't think there's a man, woman, or child in the world that won't be praising your name tonight over a glass of their finest grog. Speaking of which, where's a man to go to find a little fire water around these parts?
Okay, Whalem has his
Here are
goals
ways
firmly
to
in
find-
mind. Innocence and Sin want to talk to us again.
Innocence. You see now, don't you?
Little brother, please forgive me. It's as if I have been dreaming the most horrid nightmare. And now, at last, the haze of sleep lifts from my eyes. My vision is clear. Oh, by the gods, forgive me.
It is as true now as it was when we began. You and I are of the same flesh, cleaved from the same womb. You ask for my forgiveness. I give it to you freely.
But the things I've done, the countless millions I've murdered.
There will be time for all of that later. But for now, your people need you. Oriath needs you.
No, I cannot remain here amongst these ruins, amongst the corpses of my own making. These people, They need you, brother. And your hero. Not me.
Then what? Where will you go? What will you do?
Isolation. I shall go south. As far south as one can travel in such a fleshly form. There are things I must think on. A redemption I need plan. If my conscience decides I am worthy of such a gift.
You would seek forgiveness in the ice at the bottom of the world.
I would. Should you let me?
Go. Seek out that which you need. Find who you are. Make pilgrimage. Journey on your path, brother. Only return to us one day.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, so Innocence is going to take a leave of absence, leaving Sin in charge, which somehow, given the world of Oriath and Wraeclast, seems really fitting. We do have a quest here to meet Zanna at the map. Oh, meet Zanna in the map. This has changed. Let's go ahead and take a look down here. Zanna used to be in the Templar Laboratory. I think there is a waypoint in here somewhere, maybe? No, not this level. There it is. Okay, here is Zanna, and she is sort of our final master. She unlocks maps for us.
My name's Zanna, but I already know who you are. I also know what you did, Exile. If it weren't for you, none of us would be standing here. There mightn't have been a here to even stand on. This map device is a miracle of both engineering and thaumaturgy. It's truly astounding. Given the right coordinates from a map, this device can take you to places that, well, honestly, I think it's easier for you to see for yourself just what it's capable of. What lies beyond is dangerous, but so are you. Yet even the God Slayer may not be dangerous enough. Take a map and use it in this device. I'll wait for you on the other side.
Okay, she's going to give us a map. I am going to take... Oh, I don't know. Not the Flooded Mine, that's for sure. I think I'll take Ramparts. Ramparts is always a good map. And to see how the maps work...
Good luck with your maps.
We can look at the Atlas table. And we have some maps unlocked. We have Atoll. That is unknown. Ramparts. Flooded Mine. And Channel. And we also have these unknown maps that you see highlighted. Those are maps that contain a master. So Zanna or Alva or Nico are on this map. And as we progress through unlocking various maps, it unlocks the next maps on the chain, more or less. That's a very simplified explanation of what it does. So we can continue our explorations on the maps themselves. I'm just going to run around here, make sure there's nothing else in here, I don't think. I don't know what that door does. It is locked, so future expansion. So the way this works is we take our map and we stick it in the map device and we activate it, and this should look familiar. Because we're going to head into Ramparts. And there's Zanna meeting us in our map.
Still sane, Exile? Look around you, Exile. This isn't Oriath, nor is it Wraeclast. I don't even think it's our world. These maps, they hold many secrets. I know it almost looks familiar, but the creatures here, they're different. More aggressive, more dangerous. We must work fast, exploring and collecting what knowledge we can. In the past, my initial expeditions were accompanied by mercenaries and thieves. Nearly all were driven mad. I believe you can fend off the creeping madness of this realm, but first, let's test your resolve. A powerful presence lurks nearby. Kill it before it grows any stronger, and meet me back in our world. If you survive, we'll have much to discuss.
Okay, so the goal of maps is to kill the boss. In some cases, it's not even worth killing the boss because you actually get more loot from killing all the mobs in here. And there is our first mini boss. So if we look at the Atlas, oops, they unbound my key. I don't remember what key I have the Atlas bound to. Anyhow, the Atlas shows us where we are on the map, but we also have the standard mini map, and you can see that this map has a few mods on it. Pack size, item quantity, and item rarity, which means we get better loot drops. And that's because it's a Zanna map. Maps are items, just like all other items, so you can add modifiers to them using currency. And I'm going to go ahead and run through this and finish the map. And recall that our resists are lowered compared to what we had before, so going to have to use some caution here because otherwise we will die, and we don't want to die now. Oh, come on, door, die. I just want to go inside so I can kill the... So I can kill all those healing totems. Alright.
Within my own walls.
Oh man, so painful.
I'm sorry, Exile. I got distracted.
Alright, let's get out of here. We need to go out and kill all these stupid summoners that are outside. Well, that is a protracted fight. Getting under control, finally. One more summoner here. They just have a ridiculous amount of life. I'm sorry. I just do. Oh, and there's one more. Alright, finally. Are we done? Finally. Let's talk to Varishi.
The Syndicate is not just a cluster of like-minded individuals. We have a very wealthy benefactor who would be very sad to see me dead.
Sure.
I knew you were sharp. Consider it done.
And we will finally continue on our way. Upgrade a couple gems before we head out and resummon our golem, who, as usual, has died. So usually maps, clearing most of it is the best way to maximize your treasure. And applying modifiers to maps that you like to give you better treasure returns is always a good idea. And there are some tricks you can use to maximize that output, which really is not something I plan on going into in this series, mostly because A, it gets really involved, and B, I'm not an expert at it. I can usually get pretty far in maps, but often I kind of lose interest in the league before I get to that so-called end game.
Go with God.
So Ramparts is the zone where we go to the top of the wall. and basically backtrack the way we came along the edge. And as we make our way through the map, eventually up here, we will get a counter that tells us how many monsters remain on the map. My rule of thumb is usually kill down to there's no more than 10 monsters left. There are often places where, you know, 1 or 2 monsters will be hiding in a corner and it's just not worth tracking them down. So there is the arena. Let's see where we are on our boss killing or our monster killing. More than 50 remain, so we missed an area back here somewhere. Probably right there. And I don't know if I'm going to finish this or not. It's early days. I probably need to tweak my gear a little bit to make sure I have some resists that are better than what they are. Still more than 50 monsters, so we must have missed an area down below. I am going to go ahead and kill the boss and call this one done, even though we have monsters left. And like all the other sort of map-like areas that we've explored, we do have 6 chances at this, so if you die in a map, you do have 5 more chances. Ideally, you don't want to die because that's experience loss. So we come down here. There will be a boss, and he will have some buddies with him. And I think this is actually a map with multiples. Oh no, they've changed the boss. And as you see, we've got our bonus objective, Ramparts completed. And let me take a quick look and see if I can remember how to open the Atlas, because I thought I knew, but apparently I don't. Open Atlas. Atlas screen is F3. Oh, I guess we don't have access to the Atlas until we do this. That is the problem. So let's go back to the Templar Laboratories. Up here, talk to Zanna.
How fares your mind? Everything still intact? Good. Then there's something I need to show you. I've spent some time out there exploring the maps, and despite their apparent randomness, there are threads that connect them. Threads we should follow. The more we understand these connections, the more each of these maps can offer us, and the closer we'll be to finding out the secrets that twist them. This is the Atlas of Worlds, and we can use it to track these connections. We can use it to chart a path.
Okay, so here is our Atlas. And we just completed the Ramparts map, and you can see it's now outlined in gold. We also completed a magic version of that map, so we got the bonus for it. Which you always want to do, because that boosts your bonus objectives number here, which increases the value of the maps that drop on maps, if you will. And if you look at this closely, there's another map in here, and this starry field means that the Shaper, who's one of the endgame bosses, has influence here. And now that we've unlocked this map can now drop in Ramparts maps, and that's how you progress through the map. So we probably have all the tier 1 maps in our map tab, and we can start working on filling out all this. Even though it looks pretty blank right now, this is a complete mesh of maps in here, and they go up in difficulty as you work your way towards the center. So that is endgame. And I'm going to head back to my hideout quickly. Oops, this is not what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to... Where is it? The Templar Lab. Let's go back quickly.
These worlds, they have changed since last I remember. They've become darker, more twisted in a way that betrays their true origin. I no longer believe these are realms of chance. Rather, they must have been formulated by a sentient mind, a designer or architect. Every shadow in this place creeps about like an unforeseen purpose. Whatever is out there forming these worlds concerns me. We should find the source of the darkness and put an end to it before something leaks out into our reality.
So she just told us about the Shaper Influence maps that I mentioned, because she's asking us to complete the pen map, which is the map that was Shaper Influence. I'm going to invite her to my
I think this
hideout.
will work out nicely for us. There's even room for a few friends.
And if we look at what Zanna sells, she sells cartographer chisels, which we can't afford, obviously. But she also sells a bunch of different maps, and early on, she is a good source of new maps for us. So, good to have her in our hideout. We'll go back to the hideout now. And we have our own personal map device, and Zanna is over here.
I'd like to keep my map device here, if you'll allow me. I found designs for it in my father's belongings, and I spent much of my youth working on it. I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if I let it be damaged somehow. Of course, you are welcome to use it as much as you like, and I think it would look rather fetching sitting here.
Okay, so she gives us a map device, which we can
Stay
place,
sane,
and we already
Exile.
have. I'm going to move her quickly.
Good luck with your maps.
Zanna always ends up down by the stash. And that should be that. So, with that, I am going to call this series finished. We have gone through Act 1 to Act 10. We only died a few times. Twice to our own sort of stupidity, and once to a crash, which we couldn't really help. But that's okay. It happens. I appreciate the fact that you have followed along and gotten this far in the series. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel to follow new series when they come out. You can always hit the notification bell to find out when new videos go out. If you have any thoughts on how this series went or what you'd like to see in future series like these, please let me know in the comments below. Again, I really hope you've enjoyed this, and I appreciate the fact that you've been watching along if you've gotten this far, or if you've just hopped into this last episode. In any case, I hope I'll see you again in the channel. Have a great day, and see you later.